Hi, we're here at BAYOU on the Bayou in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I'm Carolyn Schofield, Assistant Director of Marketing and Communications for Tulane University School of Medicine. And we have Griffin Wright with us. You're also at Tulane School of Medicine. Tell us about your background. What do you do?
Yeah, so currently I'm working as the in-house graphic designer for the Tulane School of Medicine, but I have worked a ton of different places doing graphic design over the past 6-ish years. I studied at University of Colorado Boulder in both advertising and media design. And so I've worked in smaller IT firms, I've worked doing web design, I've worked in startups, I've worked in aerospace, and now I'm here. So I'm happy to be here, and I love designing, and yeah.
What's your focus right now? What are you working on, the big projects?
So right now we're working on a lot of brand standardization and kind of creating a cohesive brand across the entirety of the School of Medicine and all of its entities. Lots of sub-projects along the way, anything from a social media post to print design. We're working on a magazine that will hopefully be coming out soon. So lots of different fun things.
And talk about, you've had the experience with large companies, small startups, but at every level, how important is it to have a cohesive brand strategy and especially standardization across design?
Yeah, so I think that's actually one of the key pieces of graphic design and branding is creating that cohesive brand, having that brand book, whether it be a logo, fonts, colors, word marks, how you use them, which ways do you use them, when do you use them, that sort of thing. And so for previous startups that I've worked for that are just building up or just getting to the point where they want to bring in that cohesiveness, I've built brand books, and we've gone from picking out all the colors and fonts, and this is the font we use when we're doing a quote post or using our mascot or using our logo and that sort of thing. And when we tune into standardizing that, that's what makes the brand recognizable and makes people see it in an advertisement or see it on social media or see it on a flyer or anywhere. And then they can go look it up because they keep seeing it. They keep that recognition. And so from small brands to giant companies, with thousands of people that I've worked with, that's when it really becomes something that you need to standardize, because you have people working in California, and then you have people working in London, and you have people working in Texas, and you have people working in New York, and everyone needs to be on the same page. They can't be using different logos, different colors, different fonts, that sort of thing. Everything is standardized to a T. There's a place to go to get all of that information. And I think what I love most about that is finding a way to be creative while still sticking to a standard brand guideline.
And I think our experience at Tulane School of Medicine, we're learning now that it's harder to do the standardization on the back end, and it's much easier if you bring those communicators in and the designers in at the beginning of the conversation, if you're a startup or something, to get this all in place at an early stage, because it's kind of hard to put that, what is it, the horse back in the barn or whatever the expression
exactly.
is.
And I think, a lot of people who create companies or they create a startup or something, they have this idea and they make a logo and they build it and they want to build it all around that. And that's when you kind of bring in the designers so you can have that ground level of a brand and then build from there, because you can't, create a brand without having something that's identifiable.
But trying to, we could talk about just trying to standardize it after people have been making their own logos for a long time is really tough.
Yeah, that's absolutely tricky. And I do think that brands can evolve. So you can have one set of brand guidelines, and then as we kind of move into the future, things start to get more modern, or, a lot of companies are doing retro logos are really in right now. And, people switch from loving a serif font versus a sans serif font. And there's always updates to brand guidelines. So I think it's having that in place, and then you can take the steps from there to build on top of that.
And it's been my experience that everybody thinks they're a graphic designer, but not everybody is actually a graphic designer.
Yeah, I actually even just, an hour ago, I'm building out something and I was staring at the word "of" for 30 minutes because I couldn't decide if I liked it in bold or if I liked it in regular italics. So it's a lot more kind of visual harmony than just, guidelines and, building blocks. there's some special rules that not everyone can really know about. You know, you think to align everything to the, you know, tight to the left. But if you have a letter A, for example, it kind of overhangs. And so the correct thing to do is to actually, you know, put it out of line so it looks like it lines up more.
I didn't know that. I just learned that. I didn't think of something I created that is not properly aligned.
That's like a far down the road kind of tip.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
You know, I love working with brands. I love building brands. I love, I think what I said to you when we first talked is that I like to try and think outside of the box while staying within the box of brand guidelines. So it's a fun way to kind of restrict yourself, but find new pathways to be creative with it.